I was looking at some of the data that says 46% of the media content promotes gender stereotypes. Do you hear that? And the prejudices. Do you agree? If you don't agree, we can also have an opportunity to do our own research. 46% of the media content promotes gender stereotypes and the prejudices. That means there are things we say, these are for women, these are for men, even when they are discriminatory. You know the stereotype, how we stereotype. For example, maybe science and engineering is not for girls. Or well, if there is fewer resources at home, we will support the boy and not the girl. So those stereotypes have not worked very well for us. That means the more we empower communities and societies, the better. Only 4% challenge gender stereotypes. Of your content, only 4% challenge stereotypes and the prejudices. And then, according to the UN study, only 7% promote gender equality of your content, both print and electronic. I think then that tells us we have a gap that we need to work together and close. We also realize that much as we are not making much progress on gender equality, about 20% of NGOs work around gender sector. 20% of all NGOs go to Northeastern, most of them, wherever they are, in the urban, in the slum, 20% are dealing with gender. Yet, the progress is painfully slow. So, how to collect the data and the statistics that informs the decision? The way we do it in Kenyan government, we use the Kenya Demographic Survey, Health, 2021, 2022, to capture the data that informs decision making. For example, you have had 1 out of 4 girls women between 14 and 49, they have undergone FGM. That is the worst type of gender-based violence, and then that should also inform our policy, who we address. We also use the data from research institutions, and I'm happy universities are here. We have just joined with University of Nairobi, Strasbourg University, Kenyatta University, funded by Berida Gates program, just to be able to give us data, so that data can inform policy, and then decisions which are made are more targeted to deal with the issues. We have also had the National Crime Center, KIPRA, all that generate a lot of data that we could use. We also have hotlines that now they are reporting directly, and that is one way of collecting data that could be used for decision making regarding gender-based violence, which is the action coalition that Kenya is participating in Generation Equality Forum. Not forgetting, we coordinate gender sector working group, and in fact when I was coming, does media participate in gender sector working group? And I was told through Association of Women in the media, they participate in that particular sector working group. Because as you realize, gender equality cuts across. This in other ministries. It could also be a target for NGOs and other organizations. We also have a gender-based violence information system, which is part of the commitment that we have made. Then what is the role of Editors Guild? We want you to highlight the need for inclusion of gender equality as one of the targets to realize this Generation Equality Forum and in our time. Because literature is also telling us, if we just went the way we are, without new intervention from Generation Equality Forum, it would take 200 years before we get gender parity. I'm sure nobody wants to wait for those 200. So we must have other interventions. We also think that you can also educate and inform progress made on generation equality and gender-based violence. You should be able to find, and I think I've seen a lot of TV programs that are focusing on gender-based violence, people citing their experiences, telling their story. When people tell their story, I think then the interventions are more targeted. We have also found that highlighting teenage pregnancies and early marriages, I think because that is all part of what disables women from getting to their full potential. We could also promote gender equality by pointing out the unconscious gender bias. I think many of us, we actually are sometimes influenced by unconscious gender bias, and sometimes for the women who are here, even when you are at a very senior level, those biases still follow you, and you have to fight them, and you have to remind the people around you that those biases, you are alive about them, and so that you can make the right decision. Those biases, even when you are at the cabinet level, in the case you think it's going to end soon, you realize that matter, the way it has been taken, I'm just reminded it's a gender issue. We are not oversensitive, but you could give a very important, valid point, and maybe the chairman doesn't look like he's very keen, but if the same point is said by the man, it becomes very, yeah, so I think you could do that. We could also hold government accountable and other stakeholders for the commitments we have done. I'm going to read to you commitments that we have given. I think you have to be on our case, because so that you can ask us these commitments that you signed in Paris and they are localized in our context. We signed them, but every country has got their own local context. How are we implementing them? We could also highlight, reading by example, implementing gender equality program in your own institutions. And I have been involved. You must be a role model. If you are saying we are going to improve gender equality and you are in the nation media, you must ask yourself, what are you doing to create that environment that will promote gender equality? What we have found in research is there is a lot of understanding and the people want to do it. But when it comes to implementing, then it's something. So can we move from talking to implementing that environment, that policy that could improve gender equality?